I set out last week to work through a personal rebrand project using Claude as my creative director and designer. See, in the past, when I've gone through this process, it's essentially all on me or other humans. And I usually would have to hire them or ask for a favor. And this time, now with all of these AI tools at my disposal, I wanted to see, could I use Claude as both my creative director and my designer and really get through this whole process by treating me as the stakeholder, as the client. So here I am. I want to go through this personal rebrand project, but I don't want everything to be on my shoulders. I don't necessarily want to be the project manager. I just want it to be done. And I've made some really, really good progress. I didn't get as far as I had hoped to, but I learned three really key things throughout this last week or so. And I wanted to share those with you today. And these, I think, are kind of fundamental and foundational to a rebrand project. And you might even be able to take them as inspiration into other types of projects. So let's get into it. The first thing is the project brief. And this is what I had come up with right away. I had decided that I want to be the client and I just want to work through this rebrand project. And I want to set Claude up right away to be able to be essentially the driver of the project, be the creative director, be the designer, and guide me to the answers. Because what I've found in the past is when you work through the branding process, it's really intimidating. Even if you're working even if you're working to serve a client, they may have an existing brand or they may understand where they are in the market and with their competitors and all of that. And that can help you get a sense of where they should go. But it's still this just massive blank canvas, and it can be really overwhelming to work in that sort of medium. And that happens to me too. And so what ends up happening is I can do anything. I can dream up anything, and it tends to be so overwhelming that I just focus on the executional details and I get distracted and I lose sight of this bigger picture. And at the end of the process, every time, I've rebranded and I've been satisfied to an extent, to the point where I can take it and I can run with it. But I haven't felt like my brand has ever really brought the level of polish that I feel like I'm capable of delivering. I just haven't done it. And so that's the challenge for me this time is, okay, I'm the client, Claude's the expert, and we're going to work together and we're going to figure out how to make this thing work. And so that first part is the project brief. And so I want to share with you what I set up here. And I won't go into the details, but basically I'm saying this is who I am and this is what I want. I want to work through this personal rebrand project. I want you to drive it as the creative director. And then I give it just like a little bit of background on me. Here's one social profile. Here's my website and the about page on my website. And I also specified the scope of this project is for this particular week. I really just want the beginnings of the look and feel, something that we could apply to the social profiles. And we are very close. It's just that what I found, which is really good, is that I wanted a lot more than we could reasonably accomplish in 1 week. And I probably do have to bring in some other human people to help me add the level of polish that I want. But we're making we're making progress, and I'm learning a lot and building some new skills along the way. So anyways, I set that up, and then Claude comes back and says, let me do some homework. And it did the research, and it says, here's what I think I know about you. And I could correct it a little bit, but what I really pushed on here is I want you to first do the research about me so you learn a little bit more about me and who I am in public. and then run with the project brief and ask me very specific questions. And this is what it did. So you've seen where it sets up, it's essentially multiple choice. Like, do you want A, B, C, D, or other? And for every one of those, I would highly recommend it go with other. And even if your other is A, say it's A because blah, blah, blah. And so I wrote a lot. I mean, really, I'm talking into, what am I using now? No, not, it's not, it's a Whisper Flow. And so here's what it asks, just so you see these questions right away. When you picture the new brand living in the wild, what's the overall energy you want? That is exactly something that someone who's driving a rebrand project would ask right up front. This gave me some other options, but it was basically asking me what I wanted to do with my website, and through that, I saw that it was going down a certain path, and I was like, look, I need to give you a little bit of background. This rebrand is for me. Let's come up with a very specific feeling for this brand, and we can always break it out. Each project that I work on can have its own sub-brand, let's say. And then it starts to talk a little bit about visuals. And then we went through another round based on those, and starting to get the sense of color. So that's what we did, we started with the colors. And as we were working through this project brief, I came up with what I think is the second point of advice I would give to you here. And this is when you've got this blank slate. So one, you start with that project brief, like make Claude do a little bit of research, and then make Claude ask you very specific questions. And those specific questions are going to help you fill in some of the gaps that you left in your initial prompt. And then as you're answering those questions, Claude's it's trying to solve your problem as fast as possible. That's not always going to lead to the best result. And one of the things that happened here, and I don't know exactly where it was, but here it is. It's right here. Do you have any visual references where you've thought, I love how that feels? Now, if you do, that's great. And if you know exactly what you want, that's great. If you know exactly what you want, you probably don't need to lean on Claude as much during this sort of project. I had a very vague sense, and that's all I was working with. And so rather than me doing the research, which is exactly what I would have done in the past, I said, actually, let's see this. I've done this in the past, but it's really hard to do on a blank slate. I think what would help here is what I'm calling the eye doctor approach. And there's nuance and flexibility here, but it's basically like, show me A, show me B, and I will tell you which one's better. And then you use that information to figure out what the next A and the next B are. And we didn't work exactly in that way. But what ended up happening was we get this summary brief for the project, and we say, okay, let's go. And this was really goofy, but essentially this is what it's doing. I was like, okay, look, I'm not gonna tell you which sites I like. I want to get there kind of systematically. And so we start with just a few different looks and feels. And from that, I hit record on Whisper Flow and just kind of talk through it. And the other thing that I would really say here, and this is not my third point yet, but the other thing I would say is that for someone who is driving that rebrand project, any piece of information is fine. And so even when you do the eye doctor approach, it's not really A or B. It's not as objective as can you see this one better than this one? You have to pick one. It's not exactly that. It is a little bit more like, how does this make you feel? And that can be A, feels terrible, B feels a little less terrible. It can also be, I like these elements from A and I like these elements from B. And all of that is really useful information to someone, whether it's an AI agent or a human who's driving a rebrand project. And so then we were trying to figure out like exactly what the what some applications of brands and visual identities that I really liked that we could find out in the wild. Um, and it and this is what it wanted me to go find those. And I was like, why don't you give me things to look at, and I'll tell you what I found based on that. And it was like, okay, go to look at these sites, and then go to Dribble and run these searches, and just pull out anything that resonates. And then I gave this just long-winded response, and then we end up with, okay, we're honing in a little bit more on what that color palette should be. And eventually we work through it. And it took a while, and we get to this thing that you may or may not like, but has felt real. It immediately felt really good to me. And I was super picky with some of this stuff. Like, I really want this other color to be in there. And it was like, yeah, I hear you, but these colors kind of, it's not that they clash, they're just essentially very, very similar. We need to add some more contrast into the palette. And so we did. And we ended up with this, which is what I'm working with for now. We'll see where we go from there. Okay, and the very last thing that I wanted to share is the actual artifact and what that looks like. And that could be a markdown file locally on your machine. And it depends where you want to go. I mean, ultimately, it's got to be brand assets of some sort so that you can put them on your social profiles and other digital formats. It's going to likely be a website or some sort of web property. And I'm going to get there eventually, but I wanted to get there incrementally. And I also had kind of a side goal here where I wanted to use this as an excuse to get a little bit better at Figma. And so one of the artifacts that I had asked for was, all right, we have honed in on this color palette, which I had just shared with you. Now, it's not just those colors, right? We need all of the shades of every one, because eventually we're going to need to build for the web. We're going to need to work with different shades. And so let's follow the Tailwind approach, where we've got those color values for and saturation levels for each of the brand colors. And so I asked Claude then to generate that, but then I wanted to take it into Figma. And this part can be really time consuming. I have done this manually. I know I'm not great at Figma. I don't know all of the tips and tricks, but ultimately what ended up happening was we generated that all those color values, and then it built this tokens.json file for me, and it gave me this markdown file to tell me how to import it into Figma. So rather than this taking me, I'm serious, like 60 to 90 minutes, it took less than 5 minutes, maybe 10, because we had to work through an issue. And then I was like, okay, cool, I've got those in Figma. Now we have the variables, but I also want to display it in some way. And you could work with the Figma and MCP server, which I've heard has people are having different levels of success with it. And what this agent decided to do was generate SVGs. And so I've been able to just take SVGs generated locally and drop those into Figma. And so here's one. So it's like, I just want the full color palette, and we can't see the whole thing here, but it generates this whole SVG file. And then I just dragged it over, and here we are in Figma. And now it's not using the actual tokens. We can see, okay, that's using, it's just using the hex value, but we do have all the styles variables stored here. And so now I can start to play around with different components. And maybe you ultimately aren't going to really mess with Figma as much if you're only working on the web. For me, I'm also generating YouTube thumbnail cards quite a bit, and so there's a lot that I'm going to have to do in Figma, anyways. For me, it's my personal rebrand. I'm not going to build the design system in Figma. I'm going to use Figma as uh, really just the tool to build those exportable assets. But to be able to do that, it's going to be really nice to have really the palette and other consistent variables in there. So that's it. That's essentially my big takeaways from my first week at this. And like I said, I've got a long way to go. This is a much bigger project than I thought it was. And I should have known, but also one of my goals was really to simplify this. And in simplifying it, that was good. And it has enabled me to really focus on getting to the right level of polish. But that has started to bleed into a couple other conversations, also with Claude. So I've got a thread right now where we're working on a word mark. We've got a thread where we're working on what the avatar is going to look like and what some of the component or card compositions will look like. So there's a lot more to come, and there's a lot more work until I can actually even incrementally put this out into the wild. But it's been a good first week, and I hope those 3 tips help you as you're thinking about whether it's a rebrand or any other project. There's just, I think there's a lot of benefit to using, to putting your Claude or your whatever your AI agent, whoever your AI agent is, into a very specific role, even if it's multiple roles, and defining your role in a really specific way so that you can be successful, you can stay focused, and you don't have to solve everything at one time. And you're going to get to a better project, a better end product, just because you can stay focused in that process. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.